Would be like. Now I know, and I think I miss it. We have many exotic plants here in the palace, but sunflowers are my favourite. We have many exotic plants here. Apologies, I need a few of your seeds. It may not be befitting of a princess, but this isn't the first time that I've climbed into the garden via the balcony, and it won't be the last. I'm just doing my morning exercises. I wasn't going to. Of course, I could just ignore him and climb down into the garden anyway. He would, however, make a beeline to Mother and tell on me, and who knows what the two of them would cook up for me next. An envoy from the Far East gave me this musical box years ago. Wherever I go, I always have its tune in my head. A guard with a spear and shield, and like all elven figures, immaculate. Since Nate left without saying so much as a word, Mother seized the opportunity to marry me off to a proper elf prince. So far, I've managed to frighten off every candidate successfully, but she's starting to lose her patience. Hey, Cheap, you hungry? Fancy some delicious sunflower seeds? You want the seeds? I want to get out of this room. Could we not come to some arrangement? I know that royal servants are unbribable, but sunflower seeds? Then perhaps not. Cheap, would it be possible for you to stop admiring yourself for 2 seconds and move over to stuffing your beak instead? Don't say I never look after you. Pearls, precious stones, sparkling earrings and necklaces. All the stuff I have to wear at official functions. If it were up to Mother, I would have trunkfuls of this stuff, and a wing of the castle would be my wardrobe. She just can't understand why Pa and I aren't into this sort of thing. Hey, Cheap. Oh, missing your mirror? Well, sooner or later you won't be able to stand it anymore. I'm not horrible. I just don't want to be locked in my room like a child. See you later. Yes, of course I'll be a good girl and stay in my room. Withdrawal symptoms? I just need the music box a minute. You don't need to turn your head away from your beautiful reflection for 1 second. Come on. Shh. He's gone to sleep. It got dark and he's simply... No matter. I can now enjoy a few moments of peace. Let's go. As expected, no one here. My parents are in the throne room ruling the lands. Or rather, Mother is. A fairly small, unattractive tree.
Huh! I'd like to see how attractive you'd look if someone disturbed you on the pot in the morning.
You mean...
Anyway, what can I do for you, my little beauty?
The garden always looks fantastic, Arbor.
Thank you. It's a girt load of work. People always think elf gardens are fabulous by their very nature. But you need a mighty good gardener.
You have got green fingers.
Ah, that's just moss, me dear. Happens if you spend all day grubbing around in the earth and don't wash your hands properly in the evenings.
You tree shepherds do a great job.
Tree shepherds? The trees just stand there. What do they need a shepherd? However, I quite fancy one of those shepherd dogs. Hey, Rex, do you want to be my shepherd dog? Nah, my darling. I'm a gardener. Nothing more, nothing less.
Mother put me on a diet this morning so that I'll look perfect for my wedding.
Oh, everything has to be perfect for her. No such thing in nature, of course. Or rather, everything is perfect if you just let nature run its course.
You tell that to Mother.
I have, many times. She be very clever in some things, but very daft concerning that.
Now then, she is the queen.
I'm old enough to be able to call a spade a spade. Spade, gardener, get it?
What are you up to today then? Got much on?
Oh, the usual. You know, it never rains in the Elfborough, but the flowers need their water, so I water them every day.
Ah, the curse of good weather.
The weather isn't the only thing which isn't right. I've been here 30 years, and for 30 years we've had autumn.
Time passes differently in the Elfborough. Slower.
Well, that's why everyone grows to be ancient here, obviously. But if we had a bit of normal weather and the usual seasons, there'd be a lot more variety here.
You and Father, you get along well, don't you?
Ah, no one understands more about nature than him, that's for sure. But I don't often ask him for help. Thinking has never got a field dug, if you get my drift.
He's just more of a theorist.
Ah, the mud on your feet, the smell of fresh earth, all that joy and life. And he's missing out on the lot by just sitting around up there and doing nubbit.
I have to get on.
Yep, got a bit to do myself. I just don't know what's wrong with that plant over there. Your mother got a whole heap of flowers given to her the other day from a fairy delegation. All of them took good and strong, just not that one.
Perhaps it needs a special type of soil or something.
Well, anything's possible. If I don't think of something soon, I'll have to ask your father. He can have a little chat with her and she might tell him what's up.
If you're going in, it'd be nice if you didn't tell my mother that you saw me out here.
Oh, you playing hooky again? My lips are sealed.
It doesn't look very well at all. It's unusual for flowers to hang their heads in this garden. Normally they blossom in our good earth, not to mention the power of arbour's green fingers. A lovely spot, so long as the bees who have built their hive directly above the bench don't disturb you. Mother thought it was unseemly of the bees to build their hive in our garden. I don't think she could get used to the thought that she would no longer be the only queen here. This is Mother's mirror. It's said that you can see into the furthest corners of the land and know what's happening in every part of the world. At the moment, it's no more than a shallow bowl. The water's missing. I don't know the names of all the plants in the garden. Grandmother knows them all, which is probably down to the fact that it was her that gave many of the plants their names a few thousand years ago. Shite beerwood, sweat tea, dodder flower, fat hen, bistort, stink root. We no longer invite her to family gatherings. Arbor's pot, literally. A handy smooth stone, Arbor's sheepdog. There's only a little water left in the bird bath. Cheep Cheep always says that it evaporates quickly. I, however, think that the constant need to replenish the water is more down to his unbridled joyous splashing and not insignificant body mass. That's a weeping willow. It appears to be so content it looks anything but sad. There are reeds and water lilies growing in the pond. Naturally, they were planted there. They don't grow in the wild so high up the mountains. The spring brook emerges up there. It's still small here, but it becomes one of the largest and most important rivers in the woodland realm. That Mother will be conducting the affairs of state with an iron will, whilst Pa leans against the tree of life, probably sleeping. This flower clearly is one of the more exotic of the palace's flowers. It comes from a country in the deep south beyond the deserts. It's said that the flower of this plant used to be sent as a declaration of war, or if one wanted to deprive someone of all sense. There's a selection of cubes here. For a while, it was all the rage at official state visits to give geometric presents. The Biggest Plant Book of Avantasia by Charles Mendel with illustrations by Alexander Bonpland. A standard reference book that Arbor always used to consult every now and then. However, he insists that he now knows it off by heart. A present from one of the northern kingdoms. Strange folk up there. The men climb mountains and shout foul-mouthed things in dragon's language at the dragons. I think it's some kind of test of courage. Swords of all the idiots who have tried to conquer the elf burrow. It's become less frequent over the last few centuries. Humans and dwarves appear to have learnt their lesson. Goldsmithing, masonry, and a book about carpentry. Like all books in this library, it's a guest present. The logic behind this must be, those elves, they have so many beautiful statues and items of wood. They'll be really interested in this. Why don't we present them with a book about it? What they don't realise, though, is that if we're interested in a subject, then we'll already know pretty much all there is to know about the matter, and the book's of no use to us whatsoever. A great example of the variety of our world's fauna. Some of the ideas Mother Nature has can be quite off the wall. A few years ago, this dragon was causing a whole lot of grief. A bounty was put on its head, and all heroes of the land were encouraged to hunt it down. 40 brave warriors penetrated its lair and slew it. They brought the head to the palace where it was displayed in triumph. The strange thing was that a bit later more adventurers came carrying an identical head. Then more and more heroes arrived. What have we got here then? Aha! Ah! Almanac of Elf Medicine. That's what I've been looking for.
Ow! Be careful, if you please.
A speaking book?
An ill elf?
Ill elf? So I look ill. What's wrong with me?
Take it easy, young one thing at a time.
Young one. I'm older than you.
And you look it too.
I do?
No, of course not, and I can also see no illness. But the mere fact that I've been fished out from the back of the shelf for the first time in centuries tells me that something is wrong.
I haven't been feeling too well recently. I'm sleeping badly and have no appetite. I know that elves are very seldom ill, but if it's not that, then it must be some kind of magic or curse.
Seldom ill does not actually mean never ill. Elves can, for instance, suffer from a broken heart.
Oh, please.
It is one of the most common causes of death amongst beautiful princesses.
Oh, it must be something else.
Sensitive elves can sometimes suffer from the pains of the world. There are a variety of ear infections, and of course it could also be lupus. But I think it is something else.
Like what?
To be completely certain, you must mix a potion and drink it.
Are you serious?
Very.
Are you actually qualified to make a diagnosis? And why can you talk?
I am a magical medicine book. That actually serves as an answer to both of your questions.
I've never encountered a talking book before.
Of course not. I am the only talking book here. That's the problem. In the magical library in Seastone, all books can talk. Things really get cooking there, believe me.
You were probably given to us by someone from Seastone, right?
Right. I was a complete idiot and actually volunteered. As I am a book about elf medicine, I didn't get much to do in Seastone. I thought to myself, hey, this is your chance to get some practical experience. Wrong.
Yeah, we elves don't get ill much.
And more than that, you don't actually have much time for books. This is the center of the elven kingdom, and just look at how paltry this library is.
We don't have much use for books. We sing songs about times past, and many of us were there at the time.
Then that's probably also the reason why so many elves stand around in white.
What do you mean?
Allow me to elucidate. Over the years, the songs you elves sing will be changed and adapted, a little here, a little there. This editorial process is nothing more than refined elvish propaganda, presenting them as intelligent and morally impeccable. And who can prove otherwise? There are no other witnesses and there are no books.
I demand to know this instant what sort of illness I have.
Sometimes it's better not to know.
I can take it.
A placebo only works when one doesn't know that it is a placebo. Make the potion and then come back and drink it. Then we'll be sure.
And if it's lupus?
Have you been bitten by a wolf of late?
No.
Then it can't be lupus. No, I'm pretty sure it's something else. Now, that potion, drink it, and then I can tell you more.
All right, this potion, what goes in it?
It is very easy to make. You need to pound together the green fruit of a lettuce bush, a spoonful of honey and a red herring, and then mix with water into a viscous potion.
Oh, that sounds revolting.
It's medicine. It isn't supposed to taste nice.
And if I drink it, I'll be well again?
We will then at least know what is wrong with you.
This lettuce bush, where can I find one?
Haven't a clue. I'm just a book and have spent years sandwiched between dusty hymnals and a tome of revolting recipes.
A red herring? Are you serious?
Of course, why not? Red herrings are known all over the land as particularly useful fish. Their uses in the areas of medicine, cuisine, and literature are too numerous to mention.
All right, so I've got a red herring. What are the potion's ingredients again?
The green fruit of a lettuce bush, a spoonful of honey, and a red herring. You have to put everything into a bowl with a bit of water and pound it until it forms a viscous potion.
What are the potion's...
The green fruit of a... You have to put everything into a...
Thank you. I think that's all for now.
Normally, it's me that ends patient consultations. You are only a princess, but I am a doctor.